Hello, today we're going to see how to create a ChatGPT bot. So first we'll go through the navigation of creating a ChatGPT bot, and then we'll add some content and take a look at the bot, starting to answer some questions. So to get started creating a ChatGPT bot in your Formilla dashboard, hover over automation on the left and then click on ChatGPT bots. On the screen you'll want to click on the Create ChatGPT Bot button. You can give your bot a name here. Now, this isn't something that visitors will see. It's a name for your own personal reference. So if you have multiple websites, for example, and you want to quickly tell what bot you need to work on, giving it a unique name here helps you go to the correct bot quickly. And next, you can select the language that the chatbot will use by default. As you can see, there's an extensive list of options available here. Once you've given the bot a name and selected your language, you'll click on Create My Bot. I'll go ahead and name this one Tutorial Bot. And then I'll click on Create My Bot to continue. All right, so now we are on the Topic tab, and we can start to add information that the bot will use to answer questions. Now, so what is a topic? Well, we suggest organizing the information that you add by topic categories. Topics would be general categories of things that your visitors might be asking about. For example, I'll show you the ChatGPT bot that we currently have answering questions on our website. As you can see, we've organized our information by general broad categories like chatbots and file sharing, integration, support options, and so on and so forth. Now, organizing by topics does help the bot find the correct information, but the biggest reason for you to be organizing by topics is so that you can find where you put information easily. And that way, if there's any changes or updates that you need to make as time goes on, you can quickly find where to update that information because you can just find the corresponding category. So for example, pricing is something that can change a lot over time. So if I ever needed to update the pricing information that the chatbot has been given, I can just find my pricing category and go right into it to edit the pricing information. And then the information that the chatbot has will be current. Now, as a side note, before we go back to creating a bot from scratch, I'll show you another reason why good topic organization is great. So over here on the right, you can see there is a section to test your bot as you go. So let's ask the bot a question here, like, I want to add another user. How much is it? And you can see the answer that the bot would give to that question. Now, along with that, you can see there's a top sources section. Now, this will list out all the different categories that the ChatGPT bot was sifting through to come up with the information for its answers. So if you ever see the bot give a strange or incorrect answer and you figure you want to update some information, you can look at the topics it was using to quickly get an idea of what topics you might need to be looking in for the information you need to update. All right, so let's go back to our fresh bot here. And we'll add our first topic by clicking on the Add Topic button. Now at the top, you'll enter in your topic heading or topic name. And so now, when you're first getting started, you might be asking, well, what makes a good topic? Well, you can use a few different approaches here. You can base it off of existing information that you're pasting in or giving to your ChatGPT bot. So, for example, if you already have a knowledge base or an FAQ website section setting up and you're pasting that straight into your ChatGPT bot, then you can create topics that are based off of the FAQ sections that you already have or the knowledge base sections that you already have. Or maybe you have several help articles for different individual products or services, and you want to have a topic corresponding to each article. As an example, for this fresh bot here, I'll add one of our support articles as a topic. So let's say display rules will be the topic. So I'll call it display rules help article. Now this way it's cleanly titled and I know exactly what was pasted in here if I ever need to update it or if the help article itself is ever updated and I need to repaste it into the ChatGPT bot, I can quickly find where I did that previously. All right, so let's just copy and paste the whole help article right into the field here. So I'll just start copying this entire help article. And I'm just going to paste it straight into my chatbots. Now, once you add information, of course, always click Save to save the information that you just added. All right, so I have this help article pasted in. Now let's try and ask the bot a question that's related to display rules. Let's see, let's try, what are display rules for? And I'll give back an example of the answer that I'll be giving your website visitors if they ask the same question. As you can see, the ChatGPT bot gives a good answer as soon as you give it the pertinent information to use. So let's try another question here. Let's try, how do I use display rules for multiple languages? And the bot responds with the steps needed here. All right, so this topic is looking good. Now to add another topic, you can just click on your bot name over on the left. So I'll click on tutorial bot, and then you can click on add topic again to add your second topic. All right, so you keep going in the same manner, paste in your next help article or your next FAQ section, maybe free type some new content if you wanted to, and so on. And that's it really for content setup. It's as simple as adding in the information that you want your ChatGPT bot to be using. And once you've added that information, it will immediately start answering questions using the information that's been provided. We have an updated feature that has been added since the initial ChatGPT bot video was created. You may have noticed that there are actually 3 tabs in the ChatGPT bot UI now. The second tab currently is a new Webpages tab. I'll show you what that tab is about before the video continues on with the settings section. The new Webpages tab lets you specify a website URL that you want the ChatGPT bot to scrape for information to use without having to paste in the entire content in the topic section. It's a big time saver compared to pasting in every single page manually. I'll use the same display rules page we used on the Topics tab for an example. If I go onto the Web Pages tab, there's an Add Web Page button. I can click on that, and then on the dialog that pops up, I can just paste in the web page URL. I can just paste in the URL here, and the ChatGPT bot will use the entire page rather than having to manually copy and paste the whole page myself and then paste it into a new topic. There's also a drop-down for scan option. This lets you pick how many links it will follow from the starting website URL to scrape information. You can pick single page to just use the specific URL that is pasted in. You can also pick 1 level or 2 levels of nested URLs, which basically means how many links it will follow to scan for information. For example, let's take a look at the actual display rules page. If I have the bot scrape 1 level of nested URLs, it will follow every single link on this page 1 time. Note that this will include menu button links as well, so it will follow all of these menu links up top, meaning the quick link post to all posts, live chat, chatbots, and so on. It will also go 1 link deep on all the links throughout the article, so it will look at the marketing automation and product updates link in blue up top, and down below for another example, it will also scrape the pricing page using this blue professional package link, and so on and so forth. If 2 levels is selected, it will follow all links from the starting page, and then it will follow all links again on the next page, so it is going 2 levels deep. Depending on your needs and how your website is laid out, that might be something that works great for quickly scraping your entire website just by pasting in 1 URL, like your homepage, for example. But just remember, it follows all links with no exclusions currently if you tell it to go 1 or 2 levels deep. That could potentially add some information that you didn't actually want the bot to have if you link to some information that you didn't want on the bot. for whatever reason. If you want rigid control over exactly what is being added to the bot, just go ahead and leave the drop down on a single page and add each page URL individually as needed. So I'll click on Add Web Page and the page will be added to the bot. It will say Processing under the status. It finishes quite quickly with one page. If I refresh, I can see that it is already completed. Next to the URL that was added, there's 3 icons. You can delete the page if needed with the orange trash can. The middle icon is a sync or update button. You would use that if you just made a big change on your website and you want the ChatGPT bot to immediately rescrape the page so that it is using the updated information that you just changed on your site. The far left icon is what you can click on if you want to see exactly what the ChatGPT bot scraped. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And here you can see all the information that was scanned just by adding the URL for the display rules page. I'll ask the bot a test question like, how do I set up display rules for a site with multiple languages? And I can see that it is ready to start answering questions about display rules right away. That's pretty much it. Much easier than manually pasting in entire topics yourself. However, one thing to note is that the bot may not scan pages that are heavily graphical very well. If we look at the information that was brought in from scanning the display rules page, note that it scans everything on the page, including these extra links up at the top. And if I go down to the bottom, it even pulled in a comment that was left on the blog page. None of this is anything that will stop the bot from answering display rules questions successfully in this particular example, but what if you have it scrape a largely graphical page? Let's use the Buttonizer pricing page, for example. So I'll pull up the actual Buttonizer page. I'll scroll down the page for a bit, and as you can see, it's almost entirely a set of graphics and tables. I'll copy the URL, and we'll see what happens when I put it into the ChatGPT bot. So I'll go back into the bot, back onto the Webpages tab, and I'll hit Add Web Page to add another URL. Now, once it's finished processing, I'll take a look at the information that was scanned. As you can see, some of the information was pulled in neatly, still in table form, but some of it was pulled in with odd headings and kind of a bit of a jumbled order, just compared to how the information appeared in graphical form. There's some headings that make information appear jumbled, like free, free forever, where it looks like it is separate from the information below that actually details the free version, and possibly that the free version information might actually be considered part of the growth package information. Well, this doesn't just look funny to you when you are looking at it, it can possibly confuse the bot as well. In a case like this, definitely make sure to use the test widget on the right-hand side to ask some test questions. It may be that certain pages are better off being manually entered onto the topic tab rather than being scraped through the web pages tab. And you can always use the test widget to ask questions as you go to make sure that your ChatGPT bot is reading information that it is pointed at successfully. One more thing to mention, there's also space to search by URL. If you have added a bunch of pages, this is a handy tool to quickly find the one you are looking for. So if you wanted to see pages that have Buttonizer in it, for example, I just put Buttonizer in the search tab and search, and it will show only the pages that have Buttonizer in it. Now we can take a look at the Step 2 Settings tab. So just click where it says Step 2 Settings here. So you can name your bot here. Now this spot is the name that the visitor sees on their end. So whatever name you put in here is what the visitor will see as the name of your ChatGPT bot. It's helper bot by default, but you can change that to whatever it is you want your visitor to see. You can also give it a custom picture if you want. Just click on Choose File here to start browsing for a file. You can give it a different robot icon if you have your own icon that you prefer, or you can add a facial picture, or you can upload your company logo, whatever picture you'd like to use. That's where you would do that. Next is the bot availability section. If you have multiple widgets that you're using, you can select what widgets you want the bot to answer questions on. So I have two different widgets. If I just wanted the chatbot to answer chats that are coming on the earlier hours widget, I check just that box. If I wanted the chatbot to answer questions on all of my different chat widgets, I'd have them all checked and so on. Then you can select whether the bot will respond when agents are offline, online, or always. Next is the number of times that a chatbot will give a I don't know sort of an answer before it deactivates. It's set to 5 by default, so that means that the chatbot will answer a question with I don't know up to 5 times in a row. And once it's hit 5 times in a row, then it will just deactivate for the rest of that chat session. Next is bot settings, and here you can set the response length that you would prefer the bot to use, and it's on medium by default. Next, there's an instruction phrases section. Now, this section is only visible if you are on a paid subscription. It's not available on the trial, so if anyone's watching this video who is currently on the free 15-day trial, this space will not be visible for you until you upgrade. Now, this is where you would put special instructions like maybe answer in a list format whenever possible, or say you have a Caribbean resort site and you wanted to, you can add in respond in the style of a pirate here, and the chat GPT bot will give answers with pirate mannerisms. So you can also use this space to instruct the chat bot on what sort of general personality you'd like it to adopt. And finally, the no match response field is how the bot will respond when it doesn't know the answer to a particular question. You can add information like office hours or maybe a link to open a ticket for further support or something like that. It's a good spot to add that sort of additional information, but I would recommend keeping it short and concise if possible, just because you don't want walls of text repeating themselves if a visitor keeps getting an I don't know response from your chatbot. All right, so now we'll be looking at training the ChatGPT bot. You can go to the main ChatGPT section by clicking on ChatGPT bots. And if you do that, you'll see there's a Train My Bot link here. Now, if you click on that, you'll go into the training section. And here's where you would find messages that have come in where the ChatGPT bot was not able to give it an answer. And sometimes that will be messages that aren't supposed to have an answer. Maybe they put in some gibberish, or they put in just an email address, or there's a wild typo or something like that. If that happens, you can delete the submission with the X icon that's in the delete column here. If you get a response that makes you think, I should add that information so the bot can answer the question the next time that somebody asks the same thing, well, then you can click on the plus icon in the add topic section, and that will take you to where you can start creating a new topic that's based off of the submission that you were looking at. Now, if you don't want a whole new topic, but maybe you see a submission that makes you want to go back and add more information to an existing topic, then you can click on Edit Your Bot here, and that will take you to your list of already created topics so you can find the one you want to add information to and add the information accordingly. Now you'll see there's also a view chat link next to each submission. So if you're looking at a message submission over here and you don't recall or understand the context of why did somebody send that, well, then you can click on the view chat link here, and that will take you to the conversation history section that has the chat that submission came from. So then you can read the entire chat conversation. All right, so that covers this video tutorial on creating a ChatGPT bot. Now, if you need any further help while you're creating your own ChatGPT bot, feel free to start a chat with us, either from your Formilla dashboard, or feel free to go to our website at www.formilla.com.